I believe in my neighbour, my fellow man, meeting up and struggling to understand our lives as best we can. The hall is a safe space.
Hi, I'm Ellie Holland from the Fan Carpet, and we're at the BFI Southbank at the UK premiere of Jimmy's Hall. Were you familiar with Jimmy Gralton's story prior to getting here?
No, because it's largely a hidden story. It's largely a secret story. People don't know about it, you know. And the records have been kept secret. So no, but then a friend of Paul Laverty, the writer, he passed it on to Paul, and Paul passed it on to me. So we talked, you know, we discussed it at length, really.
No, I knew a couple of kind of crude facts, but no, his story is quite well covered up. There's not a great deal of information out there about him. So hopefully this will change that.
Well, all the public events in the film, what happened to the hall, you know, Jimmy building the hall, his friends doing it, and their defence of trying to keep it open, and the music, you know, all of that is based on the record. But there are some things we can never find out. You know, what was his private relationships like? You know, did he have a sweetheart? What were the intimate relationships between his friends and all those voices? So there's some of it you just have to imagine because it's not there. You know, so what we did was, but he was what we know about him, he's a very inspiring character. He was great fun. He's full of mischief. He played jokes, and I think he was a very generous man. He was non-sectarian, and so that gave us a lot to play with, really. You know, and of course his great secret weapon was, you know, he came back from the States to open this little hall in Ireland, and his secret weapon was a gramophone record. And of course people would cycle miles to hear the latest record from Paul Robeson, and who knows, maybe there's some Bessie Smith in the blues there, we don't really know. So we've had to imagine that too, but it was a lovely project, very talented bunch of, you know, actors, and a lot of young people had to learn to dance, to do the shim sham and the Lindy Hop. So all the kids in the area, you know, actually learned to do all that, and there's a kind of freshness about them, and I really liked their performances. Yeah.
Do you have any memorable moments on set?
It was all one big, long, memorable moment. It was amazing.
Can you tell us a few that were special?
Ken Loach losing his shoe in the bog. That was kind of funny. Everyone laughed at that.
Oh.
There was loads of great moments. I did lots of swimming in lakes and cycling for miles, and but yeah, I was dancing on the bog, which is like pure rural countryside, you know, and I was doing some shim sham on that.
Well, Paul did most of the research as the writer, and then he shared it with me, but I mean, not a huge amount is known about Jimmy, but of course a lot is known about the time. So seeing knowing about the times of the early 1930s, I mean, that's time very similar to our own, where they had a financial crash a few years earlier, they hadn't had a depression, they had mass unemployment, like us, they had the right-wing parties, the far-right fascists were on the move, like they are now. So it was a time very similar to our own. And Jimmy Gralton, if he were alive, would obviously fighting on behalf of the poor, he'd be fighting on behalf of those who wanted freedom of expression. He'd be fighting on behalf of Julian Assange, you know, who's in fear of his life because he let out America's dirty secrets and so on.
Well, it was a great story, and it's a story of resistance, because not only did he open a hall where people could, you know, have fun and nourish each other, it was a place where they could challenge the powerful, you know, so they could think and try and understand their lives, because they ran classes there, they read books there, they read newspapers there, they had the Direct Action Committee, because a lot of landless peasants were shoved off the land, and what they did was they challenged the big landowners, and it was upsetting the Catholic Church, who wanted to control all education, and upsetting rich landlords. So that's what really did it for Jimmy, and they were determined to crush him. And even after they managed to, I mean, I don't want to spoil the story, but he faced great pressure. His life was in danger, and but even today, in the National Archive in Dublin, the records relating to his arrest and deportation are still missing today. So someone's hidden them. This is a story that people don't want to know, because they wanted to crush resistance. And Jimmy was a very brave man, and so were his colleagues.
They were very good. we laughed quite a bit, and so they were a good inspiration to work with, because they always had good ideas, and you always have to allow space for the actors to give you good ideas, because they had great ideas, and they're very supportive and very enthusiastic. So it was like going into work on a cushion, you know, because they had all these nice people around you giving you support.
It was great. They were all lovely and funny. We had loads of fun. It was amazing. And we were all dancing together, and it was good times, dancing and farming and studying.
That's it from us, but remember to follow us on Twitter, and we'll see you next time.
To dance as free human beings.